Hello and welcome to Battleground Punjab. We are here in what I believe is one of the most beautiful spots in this entire world. We've been to many religious places, but the Golden Temple signifies so much more than goodwill and harmony amongst all of us. When you are here, you feel very different. There's one place in Yangon, the Shwedagon, you get a similar feeling. But I tell you, the Golden Temple is ultra special for me. And you may be wondering why I'm wearing a pug. It's because I am at heart a Sardar. And I will take this very seriously in front of the Golden Temple. Now what we're here to discuss is what's happening in these elections. To start with, just let's have a look at what happened in the previous two elections, the 2012 and the 2014 elections. Just have a look at this graphic. The difference between 2012 and 2014 in terms of votes is that the Aam Aadmi Party got 24% of the votes, suddenly from 0 to 24 in 2014. Now where did they get that from? You can see on the graph, 7% from the Akalis, 7% from the Congress, and 10% from the PPP and others. So really it got its votes from all over the place. But where did it get its seats from? And why was it so devastating, the impact that the Aam Aadmi Party had in 2014? Out of its 33 seats, the Aam Aadmi Party, if you look at this graphic on seats, it got 23 out of 33 from the Akalis. Now that is a huge inroad into Akalis. And we'll go into, in this whole show, what this is all about and why is it happening. One of the big factors of Punjab, you have to understand Punjab, there are four regions. There's Malwa, there's Doab, and there is the Majha region. So Malwa is along the south, and there's East and West Malwa, and there's Majha in the northwest, and Doab in the northeast. Now, if you look at this Hindu-Sikh distribution, you'll find the Hindus are on the northeast and on the extreme southwest, and the Sikh majority down the middle. But Punjab, Shekhar, is not a communal state. It's a remarkably homogeneous state. It's like Sikhs vote for the Congress, Hindus vote for the Akalis. It's a harmonious state.
Because all communities, first of all communities will come to Sikh place of worship as right. They would go to a Hindu place of worship.
Right.
Second, the communities themselves have their own divisions as well. So among the Sikhs, there are Jats and non-Jats, right. And then there are Mazhabis. And similarly among the Hindus, the usual factors of caste and others come in. Also, it's a very urbanized state, very urbanized in the mind.
In the mind, yeah.
Our impression, our stereotyped impression of Punjab is it's a very rural place because we know Punjab is a pind. Right. But even a pind in Punjab has a lot better infrastructure than cities in many places.
Let me bring in Dorab here. And if you look at this next graphic, you'll understand how this is not a polarized state. If you look at Sikhs, who do they vote for? They lean towards the Akalis. It's not a 100-0 that all Sikhs vote for Akalis. No, 40% vote for the Akalis and 30% vote for Congress. And if you look at Hindus, it's exactly the other way around. 30% vote for Akalis, 30% of Hindus, and 40% for the Congress. So it's just a question of leaning towards, it's not a divide.
You see, the Congress originally was a national party.
Right.
So in a Sikh majority state, so it always had some Hindu support. I think the Akalis tied up with the BJP to ensure they too had a Sikh and a non-Sikh base. So now I think both parties, both represent everybody. One more thing I want to say is that this state has the largest proportion of scheduled caste in the country. So right. Forget the Hindus.
32.4%.
Right.
Largest in the country.
Yeah, so which is like 10% more, almost 50.
15% more than the average
yes,
in the country.
Yeah. Now, Amitoj, you've been covering this intensively, this entire election. I've watched your reports with great admiration. Is this divide, this harmony, how is it affecting, now you've got a third party, the Aam Aadmi Party coming in? Are they mainly Sikhs? We'll be going into some evidence that their support in 2014 was predominantly Sikh, but why is that?
I think they've floundered there, and that's something that's been spoken about by the people that we have spoken to.
Right.
In terms of the party membership, that has switched. They did realize after a little bit of time that it is a party that basically does need Sikh leadership if they're fighting an election in Punjab. Keeping that in mind, you had a number of issues that were talked about. If you look at different areas, I think that you mentioned urban and you looked at Majha, Doaba, Malwa, it's very important to understand that in urban areas like maybe Amritsar where we are right now,
Right.
I don't know if it matters so much. It is something that matters, I think, in the rural areas, which is what we've also
I'm
heard.
very glad you're raising this rural-urban divide, because that is as much of a divide as the religious divide. If you look at this next graphic, the rural Sikhs vote quite a lot more for the Akalis than the urban Sikhs. In fact, the urban Sikh votes more for the Congress than he does for the Akalis. So it's more of a rural-urban divide than a Hindu-Sikh divide. And you know, there's something wonderful. I think you're saying that the whole state has got a urban kind of sentiment. But if you look at where, in fact, in the next graphic, if you look at where the Aam Aadmi Party got its support, it's mainly in East Malwa. And that is a hugely urban area. And earlier on was mainly Akali. And their vote is very concentrated. They got 36% of the, they were the biggest party there.
That region has a rebellious reputation over the centuries.
Right.
And there is a reason for that. The reason for that is that is the farthest end of the river water system of Punjab. Punjab is the land of 5 rivers, but that region is the most distant from the river. So it's very arid. It borders Rajasthan and Haryana. It borders the driest parts of Rajasthan and Haryana. So it's a tough region to live in. That's where the extreme left movement grew. That's where the Naxal movement of Punjab grew. It's always been rebellious. That's where CPI, people like Dhanna Singh Gulshan used to win their seats in the past. And don't forget that Krishan Singh Surjeet was also a Sikh. In fact, he was arrested in a Jallianwala protest right next door to this. So that region has they like to defeat the establishment. And I think that's the sentiment that Aam Aadmi Party has plugged into.
Right. That's an interesting point. Like to defeat the establishment. Now, this establishment has been in power for 10 years. Yes. By any standards, it's tough to come back from that. But are they going to be helped by the fact that the non-Akali vote is going to be split between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party?
Well, I think there will be obviously three-way split is always going to help the incumbent. And today the incumbent has got the support of Dera Sacha Sauda, which is a very strong, among the scheduled caste Sikhs, a very, very strong establishment. I think actually those are the kind of guys I think who voted for Aam Aadmi Party. I think Aam Aadmi Party will take a hit as a result of Dera
40 lakh supporters in
backing.
Yeah, that's huge actually.
And also,
everybody tries to get them.
Aap Party has won, they actually contiguous seat. Firoz, there is Fatehgarh Sahib, there is Patiala, and there is Sangrur. They actually next. And by the way, they came second in Ludhiana, very close. So if you look at the seats they won, they're all in one cluster.
Very concentrated.
Very concentrated.
Now let's get just quick last look at the urban-rural divide. The urban-rural divide, if you look at this big urban-rural divide in the next graphic, look at the seats won by the Akalis in urban areas. They won 6 compared to 19 by the Congress, 1/3. But look in the rural areas. The Congress won 18 compared to 39 by the Akalis. Akalis got twice. So it's an urban-rural huge divide. And you found that in your reporting?
Absolutely, sir. There's no doubt about that. It's just the kind of tone that's being taken in these rural areas. One of the examples would be where the current Deputy Chief Minister of Punjab, he went and he really did talk about religious issues more than anything else in rural areas. But when he came to Amritsar, he got half the crowd. And clearly, I mean, you do get half the crowd in urban areas, and rural areas you get more crowd. But the kind of cheers, applause, support that you saw there, the enthusiasm was much more in the rural areas.
There is also a little bit of a Jat, non-Jat issue between urban and rural areas.
Yes.
Rural areas tend to be a lot more Jat dominated than urban.
Okay. So just summarize, Dorab. Urban Sikhs and Hindus vote more for the Congress. Rural Sikhs and Hindus vote more for the Akalis. So it's an urban-rural and a Sikh-Hindu, but Sikh-Hindu is it's not a big cleavage. It's a leaning to one side or the other. Now, where does AAP come in this? Just have a look at what happened in the 2014 elections. AAP is strong in Sikh areas. In fact, in Sikh majority seats, the Aam Aadmi Party vote was 27%. And in Hindu seats, it was only 19%. So the Aam Aadmi Party, Amitoj, has kind of got the anti-establishment, anti-Akali vote. That hasn't gone to the Congress. They only had two choices before. Now they got a third choice. They're youngsters like you. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that...
Well, not like you. You're not political. Yeah.
18 to 40 is the age that we really need to look at. And that is the age which is inclined to vote for the Aam Aadmi Party. If you just go into the rural areas, it's so simple because I did one piece to camera, a report in which I actually looked at the first row of a Akali rally and I looked at the first row of an Aam Aadmi Party rally. And you could see the age difference right there.
Like between us and you.
Yeah, totally.
But you know, there's another factor here. Because Punjab also has a very strong anti-Congress vote.
Right.
And that is mostly Sikhs.
Exactly.
Now
yes,
they have to defeat the Congress. They no longer want to vote for the Akali Dal. So Aam Aadmi Party becomes their default option.
That's a very important point in the first chart we showed where, in fact, out of the 33 seats that the Aam Aadmi Party had got 23 from the Akalis because they're, as you say, Sikhs who don't want to vote for Akalis.
The most anti-Congress political party in the entire country is the Akali Dal. They've never had any alliance, any quote-unquote setting with the Congress party. They've been to jail many times
and now,
in agitation.
Now in comes the Aam Aadmi Party. And that is the big difference in this election compared to 2012.
People say, I hate the Akalis, but I can't vote Congress.
Yes. And just look at what it means because from this we're going to project as to who's going to win this election. Now, if you look at the Akalis do much better in Sikh areas than in Hindu areas. If you look at those two graphs, you'll find the Akali vote goes down as the Hindu percentage in any constituency goes up. In other words, if there's more than 50% Hindus in a constituency, the Akali vote drops dramatically. But in Sikh areas, where the Sikh percentage goes up, the Akali vote goes up. So they do much better in Sikh constituencies than in Hindu constituencies. And look at the Aam Aadmi Party. Just have a look at what happens to them. It's almost identical to the Akalis. In the high Sikh areas, where Sikh high percentage, let's first look at the Hindus. High Hindu percentage, the Aam Aadmi Party vote goes down, just like the Akalis. Where the high Sikh constituencies, as you get more and more above 50% Sikh, Aam Aadmi Party vote goes up, just like the Akalis. So they are almost sworn enemies in an election.
Yes, but you know, for some reason, they did so badly in Maja. You know, which is also Sikh-dominated area. Obviously, perhaps it's the scheduled caste Sikhs, the Mazhabi Sikhs, which is the real, perhaps their base. Or as Shekhar says, the guys who are the revolutionary Sikhs, who are probably in the Malwa part of the business because they've done pretty poorly.
Of course, it was the first time, so maybe they will spread now. You see, they concentrate on a particular area.
The way people have a greater sense of grievance. The drier areas will always give you a greater sense of grievance, particularly in drought years or in bad years.
Right. There's one thing I want to say about, I want to ask Amitoj about the Aam Aadmi Party. You know, they've had some of the leaders like Dr. Dharamveera, Mr. Chotepur.
Yes.
He's sort of, a lot of leaders have been turfed out. Yes. Is that going to have an impact?
Absolutely. Sucha Singh Chotepur is
the convener.
He was the convener, and it's interesting to note that they brought in Gurpreet Kuggi as a replacement. Now, you know, Gurpreet Kuggi is a man who's not got that, you know, a respectable thing. Yes, they respect him, but Sucha Singh Chotepur was like an elder statesman almost. So that's somebody they've lost.
And Dharamveera from the Hindu side.
And he's created his own party, and you know, that is going to obviously create a situation where they lose some followers.
So we did, if it's wrong, it's his data. If it's right, it's my data. We did analysis of every 100 votes that the Aam Aadmi Party gets, where does it come from? And it's amazing. Out of every 100 votes, 35 votes come from the Congress, 45 from the Akalis, and 20 from others. So a marginal attack of the Aam Aadmi voter on the Akalis. So the Akalis would be a bit worried if the Aam Aadmi Party does well.
Despite
and the Congress...
having a Hindu leader.
Yes.
Despite having a Hindu leader, they get 45% of the votes.
That's the beauty of Punjab. That's the beauty of this most glorious location. It's harmony, it's I don't want to sound too sentimental. It's love, and it gives you it gives you a most amazing feeling. Anybody who has not been to the Golden Temple, come every year. It's a wonderful, wonderful place for the soul. So one we've seen is that the Aam Aadmi Party, Shekhar, is more popular among Sikhs than Hindus. The second thing is, it's also more popular in the rural areas than urban areas. Look at the rural areas. In rural areas, they get a huge return for their votes. They got 25% vote in the rural areas, and they got 28 seats. In the urban areas, they got almost the same, 24% of the vote, but only 5 seats. So they have concentrated in the rural areas, so just like the Akalis, rural Sikh.
There is also greater anger in rural areas because there is a loss of self-esteem in Punjab. Nobody's poverty in Punjab is defined very differently. Everybody's bellies are full, but people don't have enough work to do. Others come and work on your farms. Land holdings are becoming smaller, so you sit all day and you look for a job, and there are no jobs here. There are no white-collar jobs. So what's your dream in life? To go to Canada, mostly spelled K-A-N-A-D-A in Punjab. You can walk around, it's always Canada. And if that doesn't work, you're just sitting at home. So a lot of young people...
Bengal is C-O-N-O-D-A.
Oh, I see. So that fits. So a lot of the young people are just sitting and doing very little, and there is loss of self-esteem, which for a Punjabi is very big deal. And that's leading to a lot of anger, and that is the AAP support base.
If I may, the Aam Aadmi Party claims that they've been very methodical in the way they have used their strategy.
Right.
And it has been in rural areas. They haven't so much gone into the urbans. They have really been settled.
So they've
here,
learned
from
where
house
their
to house.
strengths are, and they're focusing on
That's
their
right.
strengths.
They've really gone there in that area. That's what they claim. They've got Excel sheets that Arvind Kejriwal is said to have, been closely monitoring every single night.
I know Sukhbir Badal has also got a
Absolutely.
real team of statistical wizards.
Yes.
And they're very careful, very
The point
strategic.
is that, it's very creditable how quickly Aam Aadmi Party has been able to build a party cadre and a party organization
Absolutely.
here.
So obviously there's a groundswell of support.
Absolutely, and I think there is also very good organization from the top.
Right.
Also, is the drug issue causing any problems in votes? Are the Akalis
Yes,
losing any
yes.
votes?
The interesting thing is they're not talking about it at all in their campaign.
Who, no party?
No, the Akalis.
Akalis.
They
Yeah,
don't even
because-
mention it.
Yeah.
All they say is that there are some people who are trying to give Punjab a bad name.
Yeah.
That's all they say.
Yeah.
While the first thing that Arvind Kejriwal says in all his speeches, the Congress started with Majita attacking that one area. Even the Aam Aadmi Party started with that area. Arvind Kejriwal dedicating an entire day to that area. No other constituency did he dedicate so much time, and all he did was talk about for the first 10 minutes drugs.
Yeah. It is such a huge problem here, and cancer as a result. Your report showed
Lack of-
fertilizers, the water, all the water is contaminated with pesticides and fertilizers, and people are getting cancer, and nothing's being done about
No,
it.
employment is a breeding ground for
Yes.
drugs. Like in
Right.
America, wherever you go.
How would you know that? Oh, well,
No,
let's
young men
not
like
go
you
into
are
that.
drug-
Let's not go into that. Okay, in summary, if we look at where are the main strengths of each party, look at, say, rural, urban, Sikh, Hindu, and look at the Congress. It's strong in urban Hindu. Where's the Akali strong? It's in rural Sikh. Where's the Aam Aadmi Party strong? Rural Sikh. And where's the BJP strong? Urban Hindu. But BJP is a very small party here. The ratio of seats that the Akali to BJP in that alliance is 80-20. It's 84-1. It's like a huge difference. So, but the main thing in this chart shows that the contest in the rural areas is between Akali and AAP, in the Sikh areas between Akali and AAP, and not between Akali and AAP and the Congress, because Congress is Hindu and urban. Again, not cleavage, but they lean towards it. So now the point comes, Shekhar, that it's a kind of a inverted, the better the AAP does, the more it helps the Congress. Until the AAP does very well, then it starts eating into a lot of the Congress vote. So there is a optimal for the Congress, but they better not be too happy that the AAP is doing well, because one day is going to wipe them out like they did in Delhi?
Well, it might still do it, but also Congress will be praying that Akalis don't do as badly as many people think they would, because the more badly the Akalis do, more votes will go to Aam Aadmi Party. So Congress wants Akali Dal to retain at least a sizable chunk of its voter base, because they will not vote for Congress Party. There is a very strong anti-Congress sentiment in this state, not just post-84, but even pre-84.
Right.
Those fellows will never vote for Congress.
Finally, let's end this whole thing with your forecast. Who's going to win? Well, this is based on our analysis, and if it's right, you know who did it, and if it's wrong, you know who did it. Bottom line is, we are following the Nate Silver method, and you give a percentage chance as to who's the likeliest favorite. So this is what it looks like. This is the chart. Who's going to win Punjab? Who will form the next government? Congress, a 45% chance. Aam Aadmi Party, a 35% chance. And Akalis, a 20% chance. And that's actually how it lines up today. Don't believe opinion polls, because our voters are now becoming far too smart for opinion polls. In fact, after Brexit and the American polls, there's a lot of talk, is it the end of polling? Because respondents say, why should I tell you the truth? I'll tell you what you want to hear. And that you find here as well.
The other important factor also is, what is the momentum? Who's got the momentum in his favor?
Right.
Because this shifts till the last day.
Right.
I think it's really about the silent voter.
Yes. Yes.
Never before, and you guys can probably correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Punjab's ever been in a situation where there's such a strong strength of, a silent voter who probably nobody knows which way they'll go.
Also, this time, we've been here to Punjab before. Normally people say government don't like it, but there seems to be an anger this time that one has not witnessed in the past. Probably it's 10 years, probably it's the drug problem, whatever it is. But there seems to be something of an anger against the Akalis. If they can't turn that around, the 20% might come true.
Right. So now we've talked about the overall forecast, and normally we end with that, but we want to bring in one big uncertainty, and that is what we talked about earlier, the Dalit vote here. And as you said, it's much more than the rest of India. There's a 32% Dalits here, much more than, and there are Sikh Dalits and Hindu Dalits, right? Now, the Dalit area, if you look at the map, is right across the center of Punjab. It's like diagonal across, and a little bit in the north as well. Now, this area, the Dalit area, who do the Dalits really vote for? And again, it's that beautiful harmony of Punjab. Dalit Sikhs vote much more for the Akalis. 37% of them vote for Akalis and 29% for Congress. Now that's not again a huge divide, but it's an 8% lead. And what about Hindu Dalits? 41% for the Congress and 35% for the Akalis. So again, just a 6% lead. So it's again, they're not ultra oppressed and
live together. It's
right.
only a Dalit majority. Hindu Dalit is a majority. There are also Sikhs there. So, it is they do live in harmony, right?
Right. So how is that? I mean, explain that to us, that, you find so much hatred and so much anger in many other elections. But here, yes, there are some terrible issues of drugs, of cancer, of misrule, of corruption. But religion is not brought in a I mean, I feel this symbolizes Punjab, that everybody comes here, whether you're Sikh or Hindu, and even the elections, it's not hatred, right?
No, I don't think at all it is hatred. I think that's the culture of Punjab, that it's not hatred. Maybe it's the situations are created that it becomes so, but it is definitely not. And when you talk about Dalits, it's important to note how political parties are addressing that issue. For example, one party has clearly said that a deputy chief minister will be a Dalit.
Right.
AAP has said that.
Yes.
So it's interesting how that's all playing out. There are Dalit leaders that are being given tickets because they are Dalit leaders. It's playing out very strongly. Does that really make a big difference when you have a huge chunk, 55% of the population that's going to be voting is basically between the age of 18 and 40? Will they care about Dalit, non-Dalit, Hindu, Sikh? I'm not so sure.
I think the rest of India has got a lot to learn from the Punjab elections. But overall, I wanted to ask you, Shekhar, which will be, of course, if the BJP Akalis win, it's wonderful for the centre. But which will be more damaging for the centre, the Aam Aadmi Party winning or the Congress winning here?
Oh,
politically?
Definitely the Aam Aadmi Party winning will be very tough on the Modi government. Because Congress and BJP, they are Purana Papis, right?
Right.
They know how to deal with each other and they give each other space. But this, the war that we are now seeing in Delhi between the central government and the semi-state government of Delhi will then spill over to Punjab, and that will be a completely different challenge for the Modi government. The other thing is that, since you talked about Dalits, traditionally Congress got bulk of the Dalit vote. In fact, it counted amongst them because rural Punjab is not as harmonious as we tend to think. There is a strong Dalit, non-Dalit divide, Dalit versus Jat divide. In fact, lately we've also seen a very strong Dalit cultural assertion directed at the Jats. In fact, if you go to YouTube and you say Dalit versus Jat, you will find a whole lot of stuff on popular culture, music, etc. But the Congress party hasn't had a really prominent Dalit leader since the passing away or the fading away of Mr. Bhuta Singh. He was the last, and that is Congress party's big flaw. They haven't built leaders of communities as they did in the past. Yani Zail Singh was a leader of communities which would today be called other backward castes. Congress doesn't have any of them. I think BJP is tried. I think they appointed a party head, but they haven't empowered him, and he seemed to be generally estranged. So I think a lot of the Dalit vote will go towards Aam Aadmi Party.
Right.
Actually, Dalits have not themselves, the founder of the BSP is a Dalit from Punjab. And
from Ropar.
The BSP has tried to come in here with no success. So, obviously the Dalits have not organized themselves.
But they are an unknown
Despite
factor in this election because, as you say,
they're not
Aam
organized.
Aadmi Party said, our Deputy Chief Minister, finally, we've talked statistics, we've talked caste, we've talked religion, we've talked urban-rural. Let's have a human face. There are 4 big fights in this election. Why don't you take us through some of them? One is in Majita, where you've got Himmat Singh Shergill of the Aam Aadmi Party versus Bikram Singh Majithia. Tell us a bit about that.
It's I think the seat to watch out for, without doubt. You have Himmat Singh Shergill, who is, as per our sources, one of the probable CM candidates of the AAP now.
Yes.
On phone calls in Majita, they are portraying to the voter out there. They get phone calls saying he may be your CM, so vote for him. All right. That's how much they want it. From our sources also, we learned that there is not a single seat that he wants.
How do they say it in Punjabi?
Probable, I don't know what it stands for in Punjabi.
They'll never say probable. Yeah. He will be, man.
Ban sakta haega ji, something like that.
Nahi, aise hoga, 100%.
They won't say it like that. But
Okay, second one, Jalalabad. This has been, of course, Bhagwat Singh Maan and Sukhbir Singh Bala.
yes. Not
Aam
just
Aadmi
him,
Party.
Ramit Bittu also. And that's
Yes.
a big one because they've brought him
This is
in.
another huge fight.
Huge fight. They brought him in. He was somebody who, remember, shocked everyone by winning in the Lok Sabha MP elections. Manish Tiwari was supposed to fight from there. He didn't fight. Ramit Bittu, nobody thought he'd win. He won, and now they've sent him there to make it such an even contest. It's so difficult for the voter to decide out there. And just a word on Majita. From our sources, what we've also learned is that not a single constituency that the AAP wants as badly as Majita.
Really?
As
Yeah,
badly.
because they made a target of Bikram Singh Majithia. So they have to show we defeated him. And frankly, if they were to come to power and if they had to actually take action against him, much easier to do it when he's not an MLA. If he's an MLA, it's much tougher.
Also, he's actually branded as Mr. Drugs, by all the parties.
Right.
So
Fairly,
he's on the defense
unfairly,
here.
we don't know, but he
No,
is
he's
branded
branded,
as
I
that.
said.
Yeah. Exactly. Now, the third one out of the 4, Lambi. This is Captain Amrinder Singh versus Prakash Singh
And
Badal.
don't forget, Jarnail Singh also is there now, of the Aam Aadmi Party.
Right.
So they've said
the shoe thrower.
the shoe thrower.
Yes,
Chidambaram.
yes.
So, I just think that,
So,
at
but
the
these
divide-
are like,
The AAP looks at it differently. They feel that he's not the shoe thrower. He's the man who fought against whatever happened, in 1984. No justice out there. So they look at it that way, and that's why they're going to the Panthik voter, putting him in Lambi, again a rural area.
huge fight.
Huge fight.
Huge.
No, but
Two
three-way
stalwarts.
division, who does it help? If there'd be any 2 of them, then it's Badal versus anti-Badal. Now there are 3, so aren't the voters confused somewhat as to what the hell to do?
And then, of course, Patiala. Captain Amrinder Singh again versus,
The General Saab.
General J.J. Singh.
I mean, that video that goes around of him cursing is a shocker. There are many things the rest of the country must learn from Punjab, but perhaps not that.
But in Punjab, those are terms of endearment. If you're Punjabi, you will laugh those away. You know, say.
Right. So these are the human aspects of it, but overall, it's a fascinating election. The Aam Aadmi Party is the unknown factor. It's probably second favorite as the forecast
I think
tends to
today
show.
it's a little bit more than unknown.
Yes, of course.
In Punjab.
The unknown how well it will do, is, you know, the extent of its victory.
There's one big player, Navjot Singh Sidhu, we forgot.
Yes.
Oh.
He doesn't have a fight.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
say that he is going to say.
But is he
Navjot
going to
Singh
make a
Sidhu is
difference,
almost
you
ex-NDTV. Right?
Correct. Is he going to make a difference is the question, or is it too late for him to make a difference?
No, I think he will make a difference.
He will.
The
He's-
talk in the town is that Navjot Singh Sidhu aa gaya, Sidhu cha gaya. They don't really care
I
what
think
he's
the
done in
other
past.
factor is that, you know, all said and done, Amrinder Singh is 75, right?
74. He turned
Well, I mean,
75 on the
it-
11th of March
yes.
when voting.
When the
so
counting
yes,
takes
when the
place.
counting
That
takes
is 75 now. You know, if somebody
Yes.
turns 75 in 6 weeks, it's 75.
But today's 75 is yesterday's 45. Yeah, kya baat kar rahe
That's okay. By that consideration and many other considerations, Sidhu is 16. Right? You need younger faces, right?
But there's no doubt that
today,
if the Congress
voters want-
wins, it will be Amrinder Singh as Chief Minister, right?
Yes,
Follow the
there-
Europe
there's no doubt now, but then there will be clearly a second leader who will be reasonably young.
Right.
See, voters want younger leaders now. Kejriwal brings in a certain youthfulness. That they don't see among Akali Dal. Akali Dal, Mr. Badal is 90 plus, you know, whatever his official date of birth is.
But he's a
89,
wonderful,
89.
I know,
wonderful,
but, you know,
dignified man, I must say. One of the most
And he's a great
you know,
nationalist. Iris, you know,
wonderful leader.
That's besides the point, but the fact is age is age.
You've got some wonderful leaders here, I must say. And, again, I think we can just pay our respects to this most beautiful spot on earth, and so much to learn from the harmony of the Golden Temple.
You can go everywhere, but not a place like this.
Yes, it is almost true. It is. I feel it, and I really feel extremely moved whenever I come here. And this is blessed at the Akal Takht. Well, thank you all very much for watching. Thank you. Thanks very much. And we'll be back again with more updates on this election. Thank you.